Well, let's get down to business. We're going to do 998, the sky mirror, for you from the middle of January to the 24th, the third week in January 2016. We're having very interesting full moons and new moons now. These new moons are hitting 19 degrees, which is Uranus. Now, you had a 19-degree new moon that squared Uranus, and that was on the 10th of January. Now, the one before that was the trine to Uranus from Sagittarius, and you had Brotherhood from December 11th to January 10th. And then you've got this nasty one, squared Uranus. The heck with Brotherhood and the homeless and Aquarian thought, common sense. Stand out from the crowd, get a hammer and knock them down. It's the way it is now due to this new moon. There'll be another new moon up ahead that will be more in harmony. There's an Aquarius new moon on February 8th, and it likes Uranus, and so Brotherhood will be back on for a month. The unions, all of that. The full moon cycle now is also interesting. It's set off by 2 weeks from the new moon cycle. You got to think like an American Indian, you know. You want to make this deal? Come back in 2 moons. So these full moons are at 3 degrees. And we had that nasty one that was red in Gemini on the rising sign of the U.S. And I said they're going to be trying to pick a fight. That was the 25th of November, so it covered the whole month of December right up till the Christmas. And sure enough, all you heard about was the terrible ISIS people. They're going to invade us. We're just totally focused, and we went a little lunatic-like about these so-called enemies, which is just silly. I had lady clients call me and say, "My goodness, they're going to come over here and make me a slave." So, anyway, there was lunacy about this, and as proves out the rising sign. Then we had this full moon at 3 degrees of Cancer on Christmas. By the way, as per prediction, Kauai had a power blackout Christmas night. Wasn't even in the papers, hard to find. I had people there call me up, just like you said, power back out. Anyway, this one in the U.S. chart opposes the Venus and has to do with money and banks and all that kind of stuff for a month until you get to the next full moon, which is January 23rd. And that one's at 3 Leo. That one's back in harmony with the U.S. chart, the U.S. government chart, which has 5 Gemini rising. So this one says the USA government is going to settle down and be sane, and everybody's going to go along with what our government likes for a month, following January 23rd, for a month until the next full moon. So the full moons are setting off the U.S. chart. The new moons are setting off your internal Aquarian attitudes, on, off, on, off. Fascinating things, these lunations, aren't they? Well, down to the business at hand. I've drawn up a chart here for you, and we're going to go through it and see what's coming up for you on a day-by-day basis so that you might better plan the next 10 days. And here's our Friday. Gosh, Uranus is still squaring Pluto, Saturn's still squaring Neptune, okay? But Neptune's getting a little help from Mars. The young people in the military, they like the priest-artist doctor right now. Jupiter is coming up on... Jupiter's on the North Node. Hooray! This is a big thing. It is. The North Node is mothering and nurturing, and to have Jupiter stop and station there, wow, really increases how we take care of people in the world. So I'm really into that. Now Mercury goes direct on the 25th of January. Make a note, 11:51 a.m. But Jupiter conjunct the North Node and trining the Sun is right now for you. Really nice. The Moon triggers it Monday afternoon. So there's 2 times when all of this laughter and celebration and good humor and mothering and nurturing, you see the truth of it all. And it'll be particular for Monday afternoon, and then Friday night. This Moon node kind of wonderful thing gets set off. Let's go around this day by day, okay? Here we are on Thursday, the 14th, and the Moon goes into Aries in the afternoon, and it starts to feel a little bit hectic, because on Friday, here you are on Friday at dinner time or so. First, here's a trine to Saturn, happens in the middle of the day, just after lunch and stuff, and I'm getting all organized, things are fine, everything's running right along nicely. And then we got the square to Pluto at 16. That comes in around dinner time. Eek, a bug! A little panicky. The power? Is it going to go off again? The concern with Uranus and the power and the connections and the sudden zap of higher consciousness comes in after the panicky feeling. And so you won't feel that till like 10, 11 o'clock, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. The Moon will hit Uranus depending on your location in your own chart. And it could be quite pleasant, because here Saturday morning, this is like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Here's Venus smiling at us. Oh boy, pleasure, fun. This is really Friday night. If you can get by all the herky-jerky of Friday and the unusual weird happenings and all the shakings and stuff, yeah, well, then you might be able to reap some of the benefits of the pleasure and the fun and the sweets here late Friday night. But it's really early Saturday morning. You stay up late and try to catch this. This is like 4 a.m., 3, 4 o'clock a.m. in the morning. And even then, it may be kind of a fleeting pleasure, because there's Mercury, and he's in square, and the kids are making noise, and you can't think, and talking messes up all the pleasure real bad Saturday morning. There's a square to the Sun Saturday afternoon. You're not getting anything done on the 16th. On my birth certificate, it says I was born January 16th. My solar return said it doesn't really even start until Sunday late. So my birthday is largely on Monday, January 18th, my solar return. More on that a little bit later. Anyway, that's nice, because here's the trine to Jupiter. So if you want to wish your astrology a happy birthday, do so in the afternoon or the middle of the day, when the Moon is trining Jupiter. Everybody's laughing and feeling good. Good communication. As soon as the Moon went into Taurus, on Sunday, first in the morning early, we had an opposition to Mars. And everybody's a little ticked off, and we're tired of the sports and all the raging and the hot stuff and the fires and all of that. And then here, just about lunchtime, is a sextile to Neptune, and there's music. And the higher heart comes out. A little compassion can fix a lot of fires. Can it? I'm not sure. But, was it Ben Franklin said, if you're lucky enough to survive a shipwreck, give your insurance money to the church? No. Give it to the guy who's building the lighthouse. Anyway, Sunday, Neptune, nice sextile to Neptune. Middle of the day, good time for church, for music, for compassion, for getting together and, with your brethren. Religion goes well here. There's discovery late Sunday night. This is around 10 o'clock or so, 9, 10 o'clock, with the Moon trining Pluto. That's good. Find out some new things. Do some Sherlock Holmes work. Monday, the Moon's still in Taurus. Got great communication going here with the trine to Mercury, starting at breakfast. Middle of the day, here's Jupiter and the node laughing in the afternoon and the evening. And aha, now I see it clear. Happens all Monday afternoon and evening. Even 10, 11 o'clock here is a trine to the sun, and you say, whoa, I got a lot done. I'm better off for all this new stuff. Monday night, the 18th. My solar return. Tuesday, on the 19th, the moon shifts into Gemini. Everything changes. Starts with confusion in the afternoon when the moon squares Neptune at Pisces, and it gets worse as it opposes Saturn, and you're stuck. There's too much rain, there's too much mud, there's too much bad smells, there's too much insecurity. Now, Neptune is a tricky guy, This is, I won't get into it, but, you got to use your nose and investigate smells right away, because your nose isn't dependable. It cycles out smells. And in a couple minutes you don't smell it anymore. You go out and refresh yourself someplace and recharge your nose, go back into the polluted area, you'll smell it again, but only for 2-3 minutes. Your nose is set up to be defensive. So whatever it's smelling, it gives you a warning. Here's the smell, you better pay attention. And then it fades out and gets ready for the new smell. That's the way the nose is. Anyway, use it Tuesday. Yeah. Wednesday morning on the 20th, here's a sextile to Uranus. There's some higher consciousness going and common sense. And boy, we're going to need it. And as the moon goes through Gemini. Here Wednesday night, the moon squares Jupiter. Yeah, and opposes Venus. Too much fun, too much pleasure, too much nurturing. What do you mean partying? We're overdoing it all Wednesday night. Thursday, the moon shifts into Cancer. There's your full moon at 3 degrees of Cancer. And, it's... This is where the last full moon was. So this is the last of the currency upsets and the bankers and the rich people and all of that stuff. Kind of comes to some lunatic end here on Thursday morning. Then you could get some faith back Thursday night. There's a trine to Neptune, and there's a trine to Mars, and we can get through this. We get a lot of heroes around. Trouble is, Mercury's not happy. Communication problems here. And here's Pluto and Uranus again. It's shifted to Friday morning. Eek, a bug, I'm panicky. Happens at breakfast. And then within an hour or so, here's a square to Uranus. Power blackouts? It's the connections. Unplug them and plug them. But here's another panicky, sudden situation. It's, Friday, the first half of the day. Probably settles down a little bit when you get to Friday night. Because here's, this feels a little better. Here's a sextile to the node and Jupiter, and we're nurturing and we're laughing again. It's Friday night, the 22nd. Good show. Continues right through Saturday and breakfast time. Then as you go towards the middle of the day, there's the new full moon of 3 Leo, and the USA government's going to be happy. It finally gets a month's break from all of this lunacy. And it's not a bad full moon. It squares Mars a little, but I don't know. Moon's in Leo Saturday the 23rd, and so it's in Leo also on 24th, and Sunday morning starts with a square to Mars, though, and eek, everybody's losing their temper, and they're all irritated, and they're rushing. Don't rush to get there. It'll be there anyway. Just wait a little while. An hour after all the rushing and impatience is there, well, there's a trine to Saturn. It all settles down. You got a nice plan. Yes. And as you go through Sunday, in the afternoon and evening, here's the moon trines Uranus, and there's common sense clicked in. Not bad for the middle of Leo, huh?